My addictions started when I was young. You know, it was everywhere. I mean, my mother was a bartender. My dad was an alcoholic. As I found out later on, alcoholism ran rampant in my family. So everywhere you looked, even the people that said you shouldn't do that were doing it. When I was 17, I struck out on my own. I left home against my mom's wishes. This really opened up some doors for me to be pretty free and not be accountable to anybody. It was very immature and hurt a lot of people, whether I was fighting with people, whether I was involved in, you know, sexual immorality. I was always hurting people. So the drugs and alcohol just became more of a part of my life, and as I went into the service, it continued to be more and more a part of my life. If you've been in the military and you go in young, everybody drinks. That's just part of the lifestyle. So as much as I really did well in the military, I graduated with meritorious promotions, and the service was good for me, but the alcoholism really continued to get bad. And I started to have problems. I had intended on doing 20 years and retiring. And I could see that if I had stayed in, my alcoholism would have ruined that career. I was not a happy drunk. I was a mean drunk. And so that got me into a lot of trouble, because at this time, the drugs and alcohol had gotten me to a point where I really didn't care much about what other people thought. And it wasn't until my third marriage, it really started to hurt and bother me that I was hurting other people in my life, especially ones that I believed I cared so much about. My wife and I, at the time we weren't married, but we separated for a year. And when we separated for that year, I was pretty angry. And I wanted to forget my relationship with her, and I didn't care about anything, and that's when the drugs really started to play a big part in my life. That's when I started using a needle. Just the alcohol alone should have killed me, but I was pretty certain that if I continued the way that I was, that either the alcohol or the drugs would get me. I would either overdose or I would run off the road into a tree or another car, but it had gotten that bad. The addiction really prevented me from seeing a lot of things, but I just wanted to be happy, and I thought that all the things that I wanted would give me happiness, but I was never really convinced of that. In the meantime, Mary and I had gotten back together, and the one thing that we agreed was that if we were going to make it, something seriously drastic had to change, but I couldn't. And I saw the impact that it had on them, and that hurt me. And it was miserable that I couldn't quit drinking, or I couldn't quit doing drugs, that I couldn't live the kind of life that would perpetuate a good life for me and for them. And that's when the Lord stepped in. I was in jail. I had gotten arrested, and while I was in jail, waiting for my hearing, is when I really reflected back on my life, and it was just a trail of ruin and misery. And I think I was at that point where I said, Lord, if you were really there, if you really exist and everything that I've come to understand about you is true, if it's all true, then I need to know, I want to know. It had gotten so bad prior to that I had actually put a gun to my head. I'd actually stuck the barrel in my mouth, but I couldn't pull the trigger. And I'm sure that the Lord was intervening there, because when I was sitting in that jail cell and I was asking him if he really existed, that I needed to know that if it wasn't so, then I would probably pull the trigger and check out. But at that point in time, everything changed. It didn't happen instantly, but because I believed that he did answer me, a lot of things happened pretty quickly. It was miraculous. I quit drinking, I quit smoking, I quit doing drugs, all the same day. And God showed me victory and has shown me a new life. Addiction is miserable. Today I can understand that my addiction created a lot of stress, a lot of pain, a lot of doubt. It was miserable because there was nothing that I could be sure of. Everything was in question, and there was nobody to turn to. And I thank God. I thank God for answering my prayers and my question about whether he existed and whether there could be another life for me, because I had made such a mess of my life. God has blessed me. He has helped me to see victory over alcohol, over drugs, and a terrible attitude. And I can say today that I don't feel like my past is wasted years. All of the things that have happened in my past have culminated to the things that I've learned as a result of them. He has shown me that he's there, and he's there for me. I'm not just a number in the lottery. He cares about me. I have a relationship with him, and that relationship is going to be eternal. I believe today more than ever that if we seek him out, that he will stretch his hand out. He will answer us. And it is his will that we should live the life that he created us for. And I feel like I'm experiencing that. My name's Lou, and I'm unhooked.